supposed to be auditioning today. I'm an actor, and I think it's supposed to be one of those stage sets with lots of trap doors and jungle backdrops. I'm really hoping there's spotlights because I'm gonna audition to play a wildlife biologist. Yeah, thank you. I think it's someone that works with animals, I guess. I don't actually know very much about science, but I do know that scientists always carry around books about animals. So I've got a book on birds. These are animals, right? Oh, I sure hope so. Okay, well, I've got that. I know that they always wear vests with lots of pockets to keep all of their cool stuff. So I've got my vest with all pockets. They carry around binoculars. Oh, and my map, goodness gracious. For looking at stuff, I don't know how to use these. Okay, but I've got those. And they always wear a hat proclaiming what they love most in the world, which is science. Yeah, look at me. I'm already a scientist outstanding in her field. No? Not funny? Okay, well, if my jokes don't get me into the show, Annabelle is sure to get me into the show. She and I have been working together for several weeks now to prepare for a big audience, just like you guys. Let's show them what we got, Annabelle. Stay. Well, that wasn't quite right. Okay, let's try again. Stay. Oh gosh, maybe we just need more practice. I don't know, I'm so nervous now.
Hey, excuse me, we weren't expecting anyone today. Oh, you must be the new wildlife biologist from the zoo. My name's Evan.
That's me, a wildlife biologist. I'm Janelle.
Very nice, and you're studying urban wildlife, right? We're so glad you're here. We're so excited for you to give us all ideas on how we can all better coexist with wildlife. Speaking of, who's your friend there?
Oh, this is Annabelle. She's my research assistant.
Oh, that's pretty impressive, but our birds are about ready to fly. It might be safer for everyone if Annabelle waited inside the barn.
Over,
yep, over there. I'll make sure we're ready out
all
here.
All right, let's go. Oh, wait, but...
Oh.
I thought the barn was that way. Oh, sorry. She wasn't finished with her research. Come on, Annabelle, let's go this way. Oh goodness. You're supposed to make me look good. But did you guys hear that? He thinks I'm a real scientist. Must be my hat, right? The hat.
Is that you're saying something over there?
Well, nothing. Just pig secrets.
Oh, gotcha. You know? Very nice. Of course, yeah, they're very secretive.
Yeah, they are.
Are you ready to meet our raptors?
You have raptors? Oh my gosh, I have been waiting for this moment my entire life. Jurassic Park is my favorite movie. I love Chris Pratt. I'm ready.
Wow.
This way. Talking about dinosaurs, that's silly. Of course.
That would be quite a show, though, and you weren't too, well, you were many millions of years off, but kind of the modern day descendants of the dinosaurs. And today's raptors are similarly named to the velociraptor you might have been thinking of,
that's
because
what
they do
hunt
with those big claws here. And this time of year we're starting to get out of it, but we still have some crows protecting young ones and don't like predators in the area. He doesn't want anything to do with them. It's hard to tell them that though, so we're gonna keep him down here on the glove. But the red-tailed hawk here is a very common species in this area, and hungry hawks love to eat critters like mice and rats, and they help keep rodent populations from taking over habitats. And that's really good for farmers and the rest of us too. We're really hoping to help people appreciate birds like Gunner here, all the amazing animals we have here at the zoo. So even after you go home, you want to continue thinking about the little changes you could make in your own life that might make coexisting with our animal neighbors a little bit easier for them. And so you guys have probably seen a bird like this maybe going down the highway. They are very appropriately named Hawk of the Highway. They love that tall perch spot where they can sit up nice and high and have a big clearing. We keep the grass nice and short, so it makes for some good hunting opportunities.
You know, Evan, this is Seattle, so I feel like I'm always sitting in traffic.
Of course, yeah.
But you're saying these birds are sitting on top of light posts. I don't feel like I've ever seen them, but they're there?
They're out there all right, and Gunner actually used to be one of those wild hawks, but he was involved in a vehicle collision. He was lucky though, someone found him and got him to a rehab center where he was able to recuperate. While the species as a whole is doing pretty well, individuals like Gunner can suffer when we forget to consider their needs. For example, if you are driving down the highway or any road, if you're throwing trash and food out of your car window, that attracts those rodents, which will then attract amazing, awesome animals like gunner here, and that puts them right in harm's way when cars come along.
Wow, he is amazing, right, everybody?
All around us, they could be all over the place. Yeah, but the next animal we're bringing out actually is right over here. If anyone can tell me who this is, what kind of animal?
Oh, he's a yellow belly flippy flapper, right, Evan? Yellow belly flippy flapper.
Does anyone else know what kind of animal this is? An
owl.
Yes.
That's what I said. I said owl first.
Oh, very nice. Well, he is a spectacled owl, so not one that we would find flying around the wild this far north. They are found from Mexico south to Brazil. They're a very tropical owl. But just like the owls that we do have up here, in the wild they prefer to hunt at night. That way the hawks and such can have the daytime skies, and the owls can have the nighttime skies. So they can live side by side, very, very similar lifestyles, and hunt very similar things, but not have to directly compete with one another. And Kobe here is such an amazing bird to work with. We've been working with him for nearly 30 years. God. He was hatched right here in this very barn in 1992.
Wow. You know, Evan, he seems to be very careful about his decision making. Is he called a spectacled owl because he's like a wise old professor?
Oh, well, I love that observation. Like all animals, owls are just as smart as they need to be. But he's called a spectacled owl. Maybe you guys are ahead of me on this one because he has those white rings around those bright yellow eyes. I thought the movie Harry Potter, if he would have had a spectacled owl, they would have matched a little bit better.
Huh. So they're like glasses, right? Oh, I get it. Spectacles, glasses. It's really cute. He's so great.
And that just adds to what already pops out at you about owls, even if you didn't have those markings. What really stands out are those huge eyes. They have those massive eyes. And they need to be that big. They're super powerful, so they have that amazing binocular raptor vision. And on top of that, they have night vision. They have that at night. And maybe some of us could or have experienced what it would be like to see as clearly at night as we can right now, like owls can. We have the technology, night vision goggles, but they're always huge contraptions sticking out of the front of your face. Imagine trying to fit all of that into this bird's little head. So those eyes have to be huge, a lot of surface area to take in a lot of light, even if it's just starlight or moonlight. And a lot of space for blood flow, a lot of power in those eyes. You ready, bud?
He's really comfortable over here with this group of people. We're Team Koba.
The rest of the show over there.
We don't need you anymore. We're just gonna hang out with Koba all day long.
And I really do love hanging out with owls, I think especially, but raptors in general, because they do have such amazing hearing and eyesight. We would be walking through on a beautiful day like this and not even a creature over here, but owls and raptors, they're just so keen on every little movement, every sound. So just paying attention to him and see where he's watching and trying to see what's grabbing his attention, I feel like I appreciate a lot more beautiful wildlife. And so, like I said, he has those powerful, powerful eyes. What is a little less obvious is how good their hearing is. Like I just said, raptors also have great hearing, and owls in particular. And they don't have big ear flaps drawing attention to the area like we do. It's just holes in the side of their head covered up by those feathers. And you might think that those feathers actually muffle the sound a little bit, make it harder. But owls, they all have some degree of a facial disc. Maybe you've seen some other species that it does look like a satellite disc face. And those are special feathers for catching and helping to transport that to the ears to help amplify that noise. And looks like you got somebody else's attention.
Yeah.
Talk about food. Almost lunchtime. But until then, maybe the two of you could give me a hand.
Yeah.
I was about to find a new spot for that. Maybe you guys could take care of that. And for those of you who haven't seen one of these before, this is a remote camera, also called a camera trap. But when an animal passes in front of one of these, their photo's taken. And that way we can study these animals without having to disturb them. So, Woodland Park Zoo recently put cameras like this one up all over Seattle, and you are one of the researchers working on that project, right?
Yeah. I'm what you might call a remote camera expert.
Clearly, very nice. Well, then I'm sure you are aware what an amazing tool these are, not only for spotting wildlife, but also for finding out how they're surviving in these areas.
I, of course, do know that already, Evan, but some of these wonderful people might not know. Why are they important?
Oh, well, as our cities and towns grow, we're either pushing animals further out, or they're forced to adapt and live right here. At Woodland Park Zoo, we really want to find ways for humans and animals to coexist and thrive together. And these cameras are a wonderful way to help us do that.
Okay, all right. Well, I think we've got this pretty much set up. Taking a picture. What about that? What's that one? Oh, hey, that's for the wild animals, not the hog wild ones. No. That's probably not her best angle. All right, well, I better get you back to the barn before I start to bore everyone with pig puns. Unless you'd like to hear more, I can punish you all day. Why is everybody laughing?
I think we're with Annabelle.
Oh. All right, that'll do. Let's go.
Well, thank you guys anyway for the help, I guess. Like I was saying, amazing animals all around us, and sometimes they're really small, really quick, camouflage, only come out at night. There are all sorts of different strategies for avoiding being seen by humans and other predators, potential predators. I bet you guys didn't even realize. There you go. So skunks are definitely one of those animals that are commonly found wandering into and trying to survive in urban areas. Wherever humans are living in large number, there tend to be some very interesting and oftentimes very appetizing smells. And Harry here and skunks like them. Of course, they need all of their senses to survive, but when it comes to finding food, he tends to follow his nose. So today, he's gonna follow his nose to some of his favorite treats. I have a smorgasbord of little veggies here, but his favorite are these little bugs. They're called zoophubbs. He loves them. You ready? Oh, there you go.
Oh my gosh, Evan. Evan, look out. Pepe Le Pew is like right under your feet. I don't want you to get sprayed. Be very careful.
No, I don't want to get sprayed either, and I don't think he would want to spray me. But it's very good that out in the wild, they can defend themselves like that. I wouldn't want them out there just completely vulnerable to the world. But I have spent a lot of time with Harry here, making sure he's nice and comfortable, taking little baby steps to introduce him to more and more aspects of all of this, all the animals flying over, new people every day, different sounds, so he can be nice and careful, or nice and comfortable, I meant to say, and not feel the need to defend himself or spray, and I can feel nice and comfortable as well.
Wow, he's so cute. Did you guys see his little hands and his little tiny nose? He does. He looks really comfortable out here. He's not doing anything I would expect a skunk to do if they were afraid, which, of course, as a wildlife biologist, I know all about skunks.
Of course.
I think they're under hawks or quails or maybe under the screech starts with an S, right? Ah, yeah. It says here, I mean, I already knew, that the skunks only spray when they are defending themselves or they're young. And they do lots of warning signs. They might stomp their feet or raise their tail or spin around. And all of those signs will let you know that they were going to spray you, but they really don't want to because it's kind of their last defense.
Over here is Lola, and Lola is an Aplomado falcon. So the Aplomado falcon is another one we wouldn't find this far north. They hunt the grasslands of Central and South America. But her falcon cousins, the Merlin and the Peregrine, we most certainly could find flying right over our heads. And Lola here has a particularly interesting story. She was born here in Washington, and the first 3 years of her life, she lived on a blueberry farm. And her job was something called bird abatement, which is using a natural predator. They call the area home, fly around, and naturally, their presence would deter some animals from getting into those blueberries. But she just loves people. She's very social for a bird of prey. So she was always following around her falconer, and if anyone was on the property at all, she was always hanging out with the people instead of having the effect they wanted. So we thought she would be an amazing fit here, where she gets to come out and meet new people, see new faces every single day. How about a round of applause for our research assistant? Thank you so much for helping us out.
Just so great. That was so cool. You know, Evan, I was thinking that if Lola were a Millennium Falcon, I bet we could get people really behind, because I think there's a lot of people that wouldn't mind coexisting with Chewbacca. Right? Yeah.
Well, I don't know about Millennium Falcons, but the Peregrine Falcon definitely deserves some extra attention. By the 1970s, we pretty much lost populations from the Midwest and East Coast, and already 90% of the Western population as well, mostly due to a pesticide called DDT. But peregrines were one of the first species listed under the Endangered Species Act, and their recovery is one of its greatest successes. They were finally taken off that list in 1999.
That is amazing. How did they do that?
So both the US and Canada banned the DDT pesticide, but even after that, it took thousands of very caring people coming together to save the remaining peregrines. But it did work. The birds bounced back, and now their numbers are soaring.
Wow, soaring like birds. I get it. Wow. So like every falcon is a reminder of what we can all achieve when we value our animals. Evan, does this mean that I got the job? Oh my gosh, I value teamwork. I think the animals are great. I'll show up like on time most days unless I'm getting coffee and I have to go to Starbucks first.
Maybe we'll check out the camera on the ground over there and get back to you.
The one that I dropped.
The expensive one you dropped, yeah.
Okay, let's go.
Well, thank you all so much for coming to our program today. If anyone does want to learn more about the fieldwork we do here throughout Washington, you should go home and visit zoo.org/livingnorthwest. In the meantime, we are going to have Annabelle hanging out right over here so you can meet up close. And she has her piggy bank out collecting any donations for these different conservation projects we take part in all over the world. We may also have another raptor coming out to meet up close. Thank you all so much for coming and have a great rest of your day here at Woodland Park Zoo.